Hey, my creative friends. I'm Shannon from Shannon Studio, and I'm here to talk creativity with you. And we do this every night. So look for other topics that you might be interested in that talk about a creative life, some things we can do, some mind shifts that might be good. Trisha, it's just like a regular thing you pop up on that screen, and it just kind of makes me happy. So today, I told you we don't have a car in Sweden. So the system is, I see your little hearts and your little face flash up there, Trisha. So the train system is fine. That I feel like if you're just gonna go places to work, and it works fine. But when you have to buy something, it's like, ooh. That's a little tougher. So today a friend took me to IKEA and saved me 4 trips by my little granny cart and the bus. So yeah, thank you. And today also on video 66, I talked about joining a creative peer group. So today I had my second meeting with our creative peer group, and it's fun to hear what they're doing. It's also good to hear their struggles, because it just kind of, for one, you can learn from other people's struggle. It's just, that's part of it. And plus, hi Erica. And plus you can kind of have solidarity. Somebody else is struggling in the same way. And we do have some similar goals. So hearing what each other is doing helps, going, ooh, I can maybe implement that. Or they've said that didn't quite work, so maybe I'll skip that. So the peer group is working really well, and we're only on our second time. And we're kind of still feeling our way a little bit, I think. But yeah, glad I'm going to do it. We only meet video chat once a month. And we only do it for an hour. I kind of feel like we could actually go longer. But we have it scheduled for an hour. So yeah, so I'm glad to be a part of it. Okay, so for today. Today I think I might have told you this story before, but several months ago, about 6 months ago, I was thinking about goals and stuff like that. And I was standing there one time, and I was thinking, what's my word for the year? Because I usually try to pick a word, and it's something that I want to, generally speaking, want to be or to do. And so I picked a word, and for the life of me, I could not remember what my word was. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is your word for the year, and you can't even remember what it is. I was just like dumbfounded with myself that I would not or could not remember what my word was. And to me, there was just like a gaping hole in what I'm doing. And so it's just like I had to rethink, what am I doing? What do I need to do differently? Because there's no reason. I need to do something so I can remember my one word. It's one word. So I was just kind of disgusted with myself. So what I did was, I knew that a few years before that I had a word, and I actually got this bracelet, the same letters. They've been around for years, and I would remember it. So I went and got my word that, and so now I see it every day, and it reminds me. And I was really thinking about that, how the visual reminder helps to keep it, it's not like all of a sudden I didn't want my goal, but it helps to keep it on my mind regularly. It's not like, I think most of us, it's not like we go, oh, I want to make a goal. It's going to be fun, and then I want to forget it. Or I don't want to accomplish it. That's not what we're about. But for whatever reason, we tend to be forgetful about what we want. So I did that. But then I also thought, you know what? I need to do something else different with my other goals. And so I had read, or I get maybe an email. I think I get Rachel Hollis's emails, and on her email list, among other people. But so she had a book that's called Start Today, and the book is I'm trying to turn that out of my way. The book is a book where you write in it. So what you do is you write 5 things you're grateful for, and I usually write something on the 5th one. I write about one of my children. And so I write what I'm grateful for and then what I'm grateful for one of my children. Then you have 10 spaces to write 10 of your dreams as in future tense. So I am, or I will be, or I belong, or, you know, something that's going to be like you've already accomplished it. And then down at the bottom, it says the goal I am going to achieve first. So then you have that. So, and then it's a space for, I don't know how many days, but I started back in June. So I've been doing it for 6 months. And then also for mine, I write down my word that I find important, that, you know, the date obviously. And then I write down the one goal I'm working on, but then some mini goals underneath that. And then I write out some basically what my brand is. We have another low connection night tonight. So that's what I've been doing. And then I wanted to, you know, just to remind you of some things about writing out our goal. Oh, and the other thing I do is, so for my biggest struggle, I write out what I want to accomplish as my bigger goal. So this is one of my bigger struggles. So I write it out and then I repeat it out loud. So this one I actually repeat out loud. And it helps me think differently. So I'll tell you what I've learned from that. But first I wanted to and from video 41 about what your brain is capable of helping you do when you believe it. It's amazing. I think I told 3 research studies that they did and the outcomes of those, and those were incredible to me. So that's video 41, Believe You Are Creative, and it's about what your mind can do and those experiences. So then here's another thing from Kalen Bruce. Says that study on setting and writing goals found that the people with written goals were 42% more likely to achieve them. 42%. If you're looking for a return on investment, that's huge. And if you're looking for that investment being you, the return on investment in you at 42%, that is definitely something to invest the time in, because that is a huge return that you can get. Now, first, you can't just write it down and hide it. So no writing, hiding. Otherwise, it's just a wish. So you have to be very deliberate when you write. You have to not just be mindless, like you're just wrote, like you had gotten in trouble and wrote on the board, I will not talk in class 100 times, you know, that sort of thing. It's not that. You have to be invested. You have to be invested, and you have to think about it when you're doing it, because your mind, because what you're doing is helping your mind envision you being that. So you want to make sure you just don't write it. You want to be deliberate. And I've been doing my routines in the morning, except the mornings I get up late, then I have to do it later on. But they call that the golden hour. I don't know how golden it is for me. Maybe it's golden for you. So, but it still is. Even though it's not my golden hour, it's still a good hour. It's still a good, and it's not even an hour. It's still a good time in the morning before I get going in the day to look and remind myself of what is important to me, and to deliberately go through those things and get them in my mind, and make sure they're implanted for the day, because then I can make decisions on them. So another thing about written goals, if you want to take it the next level, if you take time and just really, when you're deliberately going through them, actually vividly describe what it's like and how it feels. And if you do a mood board, all those things increase the percentage of your chance of succeeding. So it's the visual cues, it's the emotional connection, it's the writing, and it has to be handwritten. You've got to handwrite it, because the research shows handwriting is different than typing. Who knows why, but it is. It's It's a different exercise. And that reminds me, because another quote about what it does in the brain. I mean, obviously you have the visual of your writing when you're doing it, but you also, there's another aspect to it for the brain, and it's, and this is from Mark Murphy, and that he says, there's another deeper phenomenon happening: encoding. Encoding is the biological process by which the things we perceive travel to our brains, and where they get analyzed, the hippocampus, where they get analyzed. From there, decisions are made about what gets stored in our long-term memory, and in turn, what gets discarded. Writing, like handwriting, writing improves the encoding process. You want that in your head, in your long-term memory, because you want it to come about. These are your goals. This is what you want. This is what you see your future as. This is what you see as important, something to strive for. And so you want those in your long-term memory. Sleep also helps with that as well. So I'm just going to tell you what I've learned from my 6 months of doing it, and the kind of the things. And I wrote notes. I've been writing notes in it as I go along, because some of the thought will come to me or whatever. So I've written some notes about it. And so one of the things, and this has no rhyme or reason to how I'm going to talk about. So it's, when I've gone through it, there's an evolution of ideas and my feelings about goals. It's just like, I've changed some things, and then I'll write something for a while and I go, it just doesn't fit, and I'll leave it blank. I left things blank for quite a while because I'm going, that just doesn't fit. And then you start to understand yourself better. It's like I'm having a little more clarity about what I really want. When you write something down every day for 6 months, it's like I start to see, that doesn't feel like me. That doesn't really look like what I want. You can also feel pretty good about, actually making decisions to have things, that you've made decisions in your goals that you go, oh, I want, that's something I want to do. So you can feel good about that. Puts things in perspective. What does that say? Oh, it's a steady thing, because our lives vary, our experiences vary, our feelings vary from day to day, but this is something steady. And so you can see, and it gives you perspective, because that's something you've thought about previously. It keeps steady, even though we kind of move around in our feelings and our emotions. So it refines your ideas, makes you ask yourself if you really want it. Like I said, it is a starting point for other goals that you have. It's like, this is the big thing I want. And then as you go along, you go, if I really want that, then I might need to do this. And so then it's like, okay, you implement that little goal in order to get to your bigger goal. Lets you try things on. It lets you try things on. Like I said, you can get rid of them if you want, but it lets you try them on to see, how does this feel? Does this feel like me? Does this sound like me? Then there are, it's like when I am making a decision, when I'm going through my day, and all of a sudden, just like for walking, one of them is I want to be a walking woman. And there will be things in the day and I'll think, oh, should I go this way or not? And because I've written it down that very morning, it's like, no, I won't take the train, I'll walk. That has happened so many times, and I know beforehand I was not choosing whether to walk or not. I was automatically seeing seeing how many times I could not walk. But then since it's this goal and I remember it every single day, then it's like, okay, I'm going to make decisions. So it's a subtle thing. It's not like, a screaming thing, but it's like, it's in my long-term memory. It pops up when those decisions, when that question comes up. Like I said, and I wrote it this way in my writing journal thing. It says, during the day, I will hear my goals. They're becoming like second nature. And that's what I wrote. And I thought that was interesting, because it's like, I just hear them and it's just becoming part of me. So then it recall of what your goals are highly increases the likelihood that they're going to happen. So the recall is great. I can now go through my goals without anything with me, and I can go through all of them. I have 12 because I'm doing a different system to make my goals. But so I have 12, and I can now go through those in different areas of my life, and just I know them. And so these things, give you your best chances at doing things. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to do a list of 12. You don't have to do a whole thing. Write one. Just write one thing every day. Or if you want to write 10 or 12 or whatever, do that. Do what is comfortable for you, where you feel like you can do it now. And if you don't have a goal, I would suggest that you put down, I have a creative heart, and I'll listen for it. So I'll just put that there. I mean, so you come up with goals that you feel like are something you really want to become. And try it out. Try it out for 6 months. I think you will see a difference. And a lot of people swear by it. A lot of people say it's good, but you never know quite how good something is until you can experience it yourself. So those are the things I learned. The tip tonight is then to handwrite your goal or goals. Handwrite. And find some book, find something. Oh, find some book. You know what book you need? Your idea book. You can write a little thing in your idea book if you have nothing else. Write it down, especially if it's only one sentence. You can just, have a page. Keep writing it down. So encourage you to do this. It's been very beneficial for me. It will help you in your goals. It will help you be a little more creative in your goals, in implementing your goals. And remember, 42% ROI. So in the meantime, remember you have a creative heartbeat, so listen for it. And I will be back tomorrow, and we can talk more about creativity. If any of you have written and have done this experiment with writing yourself your dreams or goals in future tense, write down tell us your experience and see what you feel you've learned or would and wouldn't do. Rose, we're saying goodbye, Rose, but I'll see you tomorrow.